Hi, this is Jack from Solr, and in this video we're going to be covering this integrated solar PV installation. This job had a few unique challenges, the first one being that the client wanted the solar to be as unobtrusive as possible. While old back solar panels are great for helping blend solar installations into the roof, an in-roof solution like the one we're using today from GSE is perfect. Not only does it give a fantastic finished look, but also eliminates any problems with birds potentially nesting under the panels or wind loading for areas with high wind speeds. The first step in this is to remove the existing roof covering. This property had a relatively new slate roof, so we're going to strip the slates back to allow us to fit the GST trays directly to the rafters. Some of the existing battens will be used, and we'll also be fitting some additional battens for extra support for the trays. The GSE system is ideal for new roofs, but as you can see here, it can also be used as a retrofit option without problem. The only drawback with this system over a typical railed solar PV mounting system is cost, basically. It takes longer to install and does require more materials, especially flashing the array into the existing roof does add cost. Fortunately, we have a resident roof expert, Glenn, here. We do keep this extra time to a minimum. For reference, if this was a normal rail job, we'd expect to have this done in a day. With the GSE system, we're expecting to get this done in 3 days. The second challenge we had with this roof was shading. This large tree you can see here casts a large shadow over the whole property, all throughout the morning till about lunchtime and then onwards. In the evening, there's another bank of trees out of shot here that would give you shading in the evening as well. With a traditional solar setup, this is an issue. String inverters, all the panels are connected together in series, like daisy chain together. They basically act as one big panel. When one panel shaded, this brings the whole panel group down in output. Another way to look at it is if it was like hose pipes connected. If you had a restriction of one of those hose pipes, the overall flow would slow down, even if it is just one pipe that's affected. This is solved in a few ways, none of which require a chainsaw. There are systems like Solr and Tigo who offer panel optimizers or panel optimization. All inverter systems, whether it's string inverters or microinverters, do optimize. There's what's called a multi-point power tracking on every inverter. So this will try and find the ideal voltage and current to get the best output. But what Solr and Tigo do is they'll actually have individual devices on each panel, and these will effectively allow you to bypass any shaded panels. So if you've got a system that has some shading, some places, some not, those two systems can help overcome that. For this install though, we went for a different alternative, which is Enphase. Enphase is a microinverter system, so each of the panels has a small microinverter. This is mounted either behind the panel or to the panel itself. This device means each panel gets optimized individually, but there are also some other unique advantages with this system. As the inverter is next to the panel, there's no DC cabling. So typically in a traditional solar system, you have DC cables taking the DC power from each panel, taking it back to the inverter. This can, depending on the size of the system, but these DC cables can potentially carry hundreds of volts. And while fire risk is very, very low with solar, pretty much the DC is the biggest risk in the system due to things like arcing. With Enphase, the DC voltage never gets above what the voltage is for one panel, so in this case it'd be around about sort of 40 volts, and all the runs are extremely short because they're just going straight to the inverter. Enphase basically eliminates that, so that from a fire risk perspective, it's about as low as it can get. The other advantage with Enphase is you've got a fantastic warranty with them, so they offer a 25-year warranty, and are one of the only companies that actually puts their failure rate online. They're very, very confident in the system, and if worse comes to worse and one does fail, you haven't got a single point of failure with Enphase. So one microinverter being down, the rest of the system will still operate perfectly normally, and that can just be replaced. We've also found from first-hand experience that for a given size system, an Enphase one will typically outperform a string inverter. There are a couple of reasons for this, but it's pretty much because the startup voltage on an Enphase system is much lower. So these microinverters will start producing energy much earlier in the day, and they'll also work much later into the night, just because they've got a very, very low startup voltage compared to normal inverters. Along with the Enphase IQ8 microinverters, we've also got 10 kilowatt hours of battery storage. These are from Enphase, it's their new IQ5P batteries. These are an AC coupled all-in-one battery system. Sean, as you can see here, has done a fantastic job making sure everything is as neat as possible. For a large array like this, having battery storage means you can capture all of that surplus energy that will be produced during the day for your evening and night use. Another common use with large battery banks like this is if you've got a supplier who offers a beneficial night rate or a cheaper night rate, you can charge these batteries overnight so that once you go back to the normal day tariff, you can consume that cheaper. For a large array like this, having battery storage means you can capture all of the surplus produced during the day for evening use. If you're a high consumer of electricity, as long as you can consume that battery in full every day, you're making quite a saving there. And here is the job complete. As you can see, the GSE system gives it a fantastic finished look. Unlike some companies, we always provide a bespoke solution for your exact requirements. This system is expected to produce around 5,000 kilowatt hours per year. This property itself uses 10,000 kilowatt hours per year. With the solar and battery, we estimate around 75% of this will go directly to the property, saving around £1,200 per year. On top of that, if the batteries were charged overnight and consumed, there's an additional £650 there to be saved by taking advantage of that better night rate. Thanks for watching. If you have any queries or are looking to learn more about how you could save money with solar, please comment below or click the link in the description to learn more.